Hey John,
What?
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, final trailer.
This is the movie I've been looking forward to all day.
John and I actually did a reaction and a full 15-minute review of the last trailer. We just got the camera fixed and the mic settings were off. The video just sounded way too loud.
Oh.
It sounded like we were screaming into the mic no matter how low we spoke and no matter how much I lowered the volume.
I remember that. That was a bummer because that was a good discussion.
Yeah, it was a good discussion because the trailer won us over.
Yeah, right.
We had a lot of thoughts on why we thought it didn't look good at all, but that gave us a lot of hope. So let's see if this trailer can do the same for us.
Final sequence, let's do it.
I'm sure you've heard in other videos, I'm still in recovery mode right now. John's a little sick too. But, yeah, cue proof. Here it is.
It was the first one was fake and the rest are real.
Oh man. Let's
You felt it, didn't you?
Oh, I felt it.
The power.
Trailer for trailer.
Oh good. I was unsure for a second. Why for the internet?
Why is the water dropped? There are rumors. The legend of the sword of a king other than yourself. Find him. I know your story.
Shit.
What kind of a man would you become had you inherited your father's kingdom instead of being raised in a brothel? What gave you such drive?
Whoa. It's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Alright.
You felt it, didn't you? The power.
It was Vortigern who murdered your father. But what you didn't account for is what you can do with this sword.
We need to be careful. His power is increasing.
When people fear you, it is the most intoxicating sensation a man can possess.
This bad guy.
You're starting to mean something.
Can't leave with fear, bro.
No longer a myth.
I'm gonna kill him.
Put him on his knees! You wanted the prophecy? Raise that sword! Show the people the power of Excalibur!
An elephant. This elephant's kicking ass all over this trip.
But doesn't it make the palace burn well?
I love that.
There's the key.
The action scenes look really cool.
Yeah?
They look really cool. Those action sequences look pretty good.
Cool. Oh yeah, I mean Guy Ritchie is a pretty good visual artist, it seems like.
Yeah. Oh, most deaf.
Oh yeah, I wish he was in this though. Yo, King Arthur, I'm gonna bake you a cake.
Hey, we can just repeat some of the things we said in the one that we didn't get a release.
Dude, we can.
One thing I'm liking. Oh, Jesus.
He's on the phone?
You apply for one loan 3 years ago and you get 1 billion phone calls 4 years later.
Do you need more money for us to charge you way too much interest on? Can we prey on you some more? Anyway, King Arthur and the Round Table of the Sword Watch.
One thing I really like. Well, we were talking about there. I'm really liking that this is strictly a King Arthur story. So Guinevere and Lancelot aren't even credited as characters in this movie. And when I hear King Arthur, I usually think King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Totally.
You know? Or
Round
that
Table pizza.
cartoon I watched, Camelot, when I was really young, or the many other iterations. Like the original classic, kind of disturbing King Arthur. Man, children should not watch that movie.
What, King Arthur?
Like
Antoine Fuqua's movie?
No, not that one.
Or are you talking about Excalibur?
Excalibur.
Yeah.
Excalibur was like beautiful but disturbing when you were young.
I was not ready for
I was
Excalibur.
not ready for that either, man.
I was a kid.
I'm so glad they have so many different PG-13 versions you could get on board with. But no, Excalibur's the best one in my opinion. Like as I got older, I was like, yeah, it's the best one.
It's probably the most of a film. I still hold that the director's cut of the King Arthur movie from a few years ago is pretty good. I mean, that's the kind of standard, I feel like. I mean, this does look cool. I didn't think this was as cohesive of a trailer as the last one for whatever reason. I don't know. It's still got all that crazy, cool shit.
What I like about it is that it's really focusing on King Arthur. Just his origin story, you know, the rebel without a cause, Arthur, before he decides, like, I don't want to be a leader, but I'm going to be a leader by the end of this movie. Then they're going to have our franchise going. Guinevere and Lancelot can come in.
Yeah.
I hope they make an appearance at the end.
Merlin or some shit.
Oh, Merlin. I hope Merlin makes an appearance, man.
Dude, that'd be cool.
Now, it just seems like he's not going to really have that hard of a time, though. Like, King Arthur looks like he can't really harm the guy. He's got the Excalibur sword. I don't know, what was Vortigern have powers, or does he just have numbers?
It's hard to say. I mean, from this trailer, it just looks like he's got an insane amount of soldiers at his disposal.
Yeah, that King Arthur is just going to PG-13 them up, you know?
Yeah.
But I think, you see, like, I think blood and shit would work anytime it's a war movie, like, especially when it's about carnage and shit.
Well, and especially, like, carnage with swords and bows and arrows and stuff, like, it's nasty battle.
This goes a little bit in, it's not full Lord of the Rings kind of territory, but it falls under fantasy. Yeah. You know, especially the world of art, like his sword Excalibur and everything. Mm-hmm. So even though this is a little more toned, it doesn't seem as, like, huge in the mystical elements as I'm used to. But
they do got those giant mastodon elephant things.
Yeah.
The biggest fucking elephant I've ever seen.
I know, I've seen them at the Los Angeles Zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, next to the giraffes. They keep them in the same cage. Also, it's a simple story. It's a simplified version where we can get to know King Arthur and his badassness. We're watching the story of what makes him become a leader, to where then you can get, like, the Arthur and the Round Table. I think it's a cool franchise setup. Cinematic universe. Make your Lancelot movie. Make your Guinevere movie. Make your Merlin movie. Then bring them all together for King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Guys, I'm telling you, if it's not a cinematic universe, it ain't worth anybody's time.
Yeah. Why put a bunch of characters we care about into one movie when you could just put one character we care about in front of a bunch of other characters we'll never see again?
Spread it out.
Yeah.
Spread it out. Milk that money. I'm telling you, you say the words universe in a fucking ad, we'll do it.
Spreading things thin and watering things down, I think, is the key to the future. I don't know. I mean, like, again, the second trailer, won us over for this, so to speak.
Might just be that cool Led Zeppelin song.
Or something, yeah.
And the images with the Zeppelin song.
I'm probably just as interested as I was before. Like, this trailer didn't make me any more or less interested, you know? It's got some of the cool... I don't know. I guess what I want to know is what makes this truly distinct, because especially during this trailer, I was watching this going, that reminds me of 300. And that reminds me of this movie. And that reminds me of something else. And so I just want to know what makes this Arthur special.
Yeah.
You know? And I also don't know the mythology very well, so I don't know if this is a completely made-up origin story or if this is in any way based on...
No, man. This is all accurate to the Bible.
Yeah, totally. The Book of Arthur. The first letter of Charlie Hunnam to Jude Law. I think the casting's good. I mean, Jude Law is kind of... He never ages, but he's kind of perfect, I think, for a slimy, cutthroat king.
Oh, yeah. He just played a dick pope.
He did just play a dick pope.
Yeah, and... he's a dick ruler here too, you know? He's good at playing dicks. And Charlie Hunt, I was watching this going, man, I wish they cast him as Iron Fist. I think Charlie Hunnam would have been a cool, like, if they're gonna go with the white boy route, I think you could have gone with Charlie Hunnam.
That's one of the things I'm most curious about for this movie. Is I don't have a lot of experience with him. My main association with Charlie Hunnam is Pacific Rim. I'm very curious about his capabilities as a leading man in this kind of role, because King Arthur is literally a legendary character.
Well,
you know?
Sons of Anarchy, he's a badass character. Pacific Rim, he's built like an action star, but he ain't doing really any action in that movie. It just looks like he is. Here, he's really doing like the way he's moving and everything. Like, he looks like he really trained to move like a fighter. So he looks like a real badass.
Yeah, he looks like a total badass in this. I mean, all those shots where he's like fucking swiping dudes and screaming and like, he definitely looks like he's got the action chops. My question is the acting. I get what Pacific Rim was, and so it didn't take away from the movie, but I found him to be pretty wooden in that movie, and the only reason it worked for me is because, like, I'm used to that character being kind of wooden, so I didn't know if it was like a style choice.
But I don't know. I mean, it might have been a style choice for that specific kind of film.
Yeah.
Because even in Crimson
Peak. No. Crimson
Tides?
Crimson Red Dawn?
You know, they did an alright job in Crimson Peak. And I didn't watch Sons of Anarchy, but everyone who does says, like, you gotta watch it. You just gotta stop watching whatever show I told you to watch prior and watch Sons of Anarchy. Like, everyone treats it, and he's like the star of that show. So I imagine he's a really cool actor. And let's not forget, he was originally cast to be Christian Grey, but due to scheduling conflicts, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that for a second.
Okay. I'm thinking about it. I'm imagining it in my head.
With it not being like R-rated violence, like when he's hitting them, it still looks cool. Like when he slashes and they like fly back. I thought that was neat. And if they were going like full 300, they would flip through the air as there's like slice here and there's blood flowing. Yeah, now it's more, a little more fantasy element to it when he's hitting them. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure not everyone's gonna get hit that way throughout this whole movie, but yeah, maybe an R-rating might have been cool. And I don't know, Guy Ritchie working within PG-13 elements for this.
I just always feel like Guy Ritchie's going to be a little restricted with a property like this in a PG-13 environment. Far be it for me to say that Guy Ritchie can't. Like, you know, the Sherlock Holmes seemed to have worked, and that's not a property that just craves an R rating, you know?
Yeah.
But something like this, I think it's more of a challenge, you know? It's more of a challenge to really sell it, because a lot of the time it seems like they just kind of stack up on everything and just say, like, if we take out all the blood, it's fine. And I don't know, it does, at least for me, after so long of seeing so many of these giant fucking effects extravaganzas where, like, you get to the finale and it's just batshit insanity. You know, it would be nice.
Slap batshit insanity. Oh, there goes gravity.
Oh, there goes gravity. Choke. It's all over. He's broke.
Hey, subscribe to The Real Rejects. Yippee!
Kaye.
John's reads this is Jerry on Twitter and Instagram, and a lot of people requested this. I'm sorry, I forgot to take photos of the person who requested it. But you guys know normally I would do that, but I'm a little on my off game right now. John is the social media manager of chicken teriyaki. I kind of have a craving.
Dude, that sounds good.
I just could eat something. Sean's what do you do for a living? You're a social media manager at Blumhouse and a coffee shop.